Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dan from CryptoCamacho.com. And hey, guys, I am super excited today to announce that I have joined as an advisor to a new ICO called the GSC Platform. GSC, Genesis Supply Chain Aviation. Navigate to the heart of a revolution. Guys, today I am excited to announce that I have joined Genesis Supply Chain Aviation as an advisor for their ICO and token sale coming up in just 16 days, guys. Actually, 16 days will be a pre-sale, but I wanted to talk a little bit about what GSC is, what they're trying to accomplish, what their vision is, and why I have decided to join as an advisor to help them in launching their ICO, guys, okay? So just for a moment, look at the image behind me, right? It's an image of an airplane cockpit, right? It's an airplane cockpit, and I want to show you a better image. This image is a little bit difficult to see, but the image behind me shows you an airplane cockpit, right? The cockpit of a large aircraft, in the pilots, where the pilots would sit, right? And as you can see, the cockpit of an airplane is very complicated. It's very complicated. There is a lot of different dials and switches and handles and levers, and there are many different parts of an airplane cockpit, right? And even more so, there's many different parts in an airplane overall, right? And what GSC is trying to accomplish, what Genesis Supply Chain Aviation is trying to accomplish, they're trying to essentially build out a supply chain management system or a supply chain management ecosystem that addresses the aeronautical and aviation industries, right? And that is only kind of phase one or step one in their overall vision, right? What they want to do is they want to take the complicated, the sophisticated, and really overly complex supply chain systems that exist today in the aeronautical industry and the aviation industry and simply turn them on their head using blockchain technology, where they can actually bring everything onto one single blockchain and enable anybody in the world, whether it's a supplier, whether it's a buyer, whether it's a seller, whether it's a government agency or any other third-party agency, tap into this globally distributed and decentralized platform and essentially ecosystem to manage all of their aviation, airplane, and aeronautical supply chain needs, right? Okay, so let's dig into this just a little bit in terms of what GSC is trying to do. First, before we jump into the actual company and what they're trying to achieve, I want to give you a little glimpse into the aviation and aeronautical supply chain industry. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because I don't want to bore you with this, but I want to make sure you guys understand just how complicated of an industry this really is and how blockchain can truly, revolutionize this industry and make it much more efficient and make economies of scale really kick in a lot better for buyers, for sellers, for airplane producers, for governments and agencies and so forth, right? You're going to see a lot of savings coming to those types of companies because of what GSC is trying to do, okay? If you do a quick Google search and type in just aviation supply chain, you're going to get a lot of different results showing you the complexity of the aviation supply chain management situation as it exists today, right? You can see that there are challenges across the board. I'm going to jump into one of these articles in just a minute. How it works, the aerospace and aviation MRO supply chain. Aviation industry may be vulnerable to cyber attacks through its supply chain. That's what it says. 4 must-know aerospace supply chain management issues. All of these really get into supply chain and how complicated it is and how difficult it is of an industry to manage given how many parts are in airplanes, right? Okay, so 5 MRO supply chain challenges aviation companies need to prepare for. And this just really gets into some of the challenges faced by some of these aeronautical companies, right? Like inventory management. There's so many different moving parts. There's so many different moving parts. How do they actually keep track of the vendors, the parts themselves, the shipping schedules, the intake, the inbound and the outbound, the payments for all these different parts, the construction at different time frames for these different parts? Like, how do you manage that whole process and that whole system? To say the least, it's a massive problem that needs to be solved, all right? Okay, so I just grabbed this slide off of Google, but it was very interesting to me. Supply chain for aerospace industry, from 4 to 6 billion parts in an aircraft, right? Can you even fathom what that means? I mean, there are 4 to 6 million parts in a single aircraft. That is mind-blowing, right? I mean, when you go back to the cockpit and you look at a cockpit, I mean, you could right here come up with 1,000 different parts just off the top of your head, right? Just looking at this. And this is saying that there's over 4 to 6 billion parts in an aircraft, right? I mean, think about how difficult that would be to manage. I mean, that is just unbelievably insane how complicated that would be. Okay, so budgets are obviously very, very high. Global airlines will triple for 2032. So this is definitely an industry in need of help, right? You got manufacturing components, you got defense components, you have OEM manufacturing components and MRO components in the ecosystem, and GSC is trying to actually address and attack all of those, okay? Next, if you look at this, you look at how an airplane is constructed, right? I mean, there are many, many pieces to an airplane. You look at how the supply chain is actually constructed right here. This is obviously excuse me, this is obviously a simplified view significantly, but you can kind of see that there are OEM suppliers, there are aircraft OEM suppliers, airlines operations, bundled services providers, MRO services providers. All of these people interact with the aeronautical and aviation industry in one form or another, okay? So now let's jump back over to GSC and let's read about what exactly they're trying to do, how they're trying to do it. Quickly, I want to let you know, if you want to engage and you want to participate in the pre-sale, you have about 16 days, and you can do some research while you wait for that, and then you could participate in the pre-sale. Okay, so analysis. The perpetual growth of the aeronautical sector combined with a traditional approach to managing the supply chain constrains the actors in the industry. There are new technological solutions that can secure supply chains and streamline company processes. Blockchain's going to do that, right, guys? Okay. Convictions. We believe in the evolutionary potential that blockchain can provide the two parts tracking, logistics, and purchaser processes. The GSC platform will improve safety and reduce costs in the aeronautical supply chain sector. If you guys remember, I did do a review on a company called SyncFab, which is actually trying to revolutionize the supply chain management sector overall, right? GSC is actually taking a slice of that, focusing on the aeronautical sector first, and then they will expand out into transportation, things like rail, right? Things like manufacturing, things like that. So they will expand beyond aeronautical and aviation, right? They will expand past that into other transportation sectors after they get it right here, okay? So, companies like GSC and SyncFab are going to compete, but they also may partner together to form very solid partners to actually bring something like this to reality, okay? So the goal of GSC is to improve flight safety and allow economies of scale for aerospace industry players by optimizing the supply chain as a whole, okay? Very, very cool, guys. They're trying to make the industry much more efficient, streamlined, and easier, less complicated to operate, right? GSC Aviation Platform, immediate embarkation for the optimized supply chain, okay? So you'll be able to search on the GSC blockchain, and you'll be able to find suppliers and or parts that are close to you. Thanks to a search engine indexed rating system and top-rated vendors, you're going to be able to find who the top-rated vendors actually are. Optimized discovery is going to allow you the detailed identity cards stored in the database will allow you to quickly access the information of each supplier, so you'll know who you're working with. Centralized tender, so payments will be done in the form of GSC tokens. It'll be universal, so anybody who owns GSC tokens can make payments and buy something on the supply chain. Regular and efficient supplier tracking. The GSC platform provides each buyer with a dashboard listing information about the supplier and their past collaborations. This technical and easy-to-use tool for the buyer allows them to save time and concentrate on strategic purchases and tasks with higher added value for this company, okay? GSC Aviation blockchain control and testability and traceability to manage planned equipment obsolescence. Information stored and secured in the GSC Aviation blockchain. The blockchain is able to alert its MRO, airlines, and camo customers to the inspections and tests to be performed on each piece, right? So that's very cool that any piece or part on the blockchain can then notify any part of the ecosystem when inspections are needed or when a part fails or when a part needs to be ordered. That's very cool, right? They're definitely tapping into the Internet of Things. I know GE has also tried to do something very, very similar. They have not succeeded to the fullest extent yet. They're still working on it, but this is very smart, right? As the airplane, in parts, they're gonna, as like people are repairing the parts or ordering parts, they're gonna be able to see kind of all the parts, and in real time, they'll be able to automatically order a part if it's gone bad, if it needs replaced by a certain date, if it's, past a certain threshold limitation or whatever, they can automatically order these things and bake in smart contracts into this blockchain. So very, very cool technology. I'm very excited to see what they can do with this, not only in the aeronautical and aviation space, but kind of overall in IoT. I think this is going to be very fascinating in how they build this out. Okay, the visibility of this information also makes it possible to anticipate the ordering of a part at the end of a potential and thus to achieve effective sourcing with optimal purchasing conditions. This is exactly, guys, what GE is trying to do. This is exactly what SAS is trying to do, what Microsoft, what Google, what Amazon, what all of these different IoT and industrial IoT-focused companies are doing is exactly what GSC is trying to do on the blockchain, guys. I'm super, super excited about this, and it's a reason why I've joined as an advisor, because I have experience. I worked for GE, and I've worked for GE and other industrial type of companies. A lot of experience in IoT and industrial internet and the challenges there. So I joined this as an advisor because I really think there's potential in GSC. I really think there's potential in growing out much more efficient ways to manage supply chains, much more robust solutions, and actually much more creative and interesting solutions that are going to be built on top of this. And that's where the gold is. And that's where I'm very interested is, beyond the supply chain and after they've secured and built the infrastructure, what's next? Like, how are they going to be able to take this to the next level? I mean, the sky is really the limit. And I could come up with multiple use cases on how these guys can build out a variety of business models using this technology, right? With foreign governments, with multiple different transportation agencies and railway systems and airports. And I mean, there's so much these people can do. It's crazy, okay? First, they have to get the infrastructure right, which is why we are trying to build the foundation first, okay? GSC Aviation's blockchain technology is used to store and secure the entire life cycle of an aeronautical piece, right? So from the time an aeronautical part is manufactured in a factory, it will be tracked on the blockchain. It may go into an airplane. It may go into multiple airplanes. It may go into multiple different facilities. That will all be tracked, kind of like you track, the car parts of your car when you go to Jiffy Lube. But this is going to be global. This is going to be massive, and it's going to be residing in a decentralized database so anybody can tap in and out of the system, okay? For manufacturing to airplane installation through general inspections, repairs, or overhauls in the workshops, it's possible to consult all the procedures performed. Thanks to blockchain technology and the perfect traceability of aerospace parts, aircrafts are safer and passengers and crew safety is enhanced, okay? This gets into how blockchain works. This gets into the ICO details. ICO pre-sale starts on July 1st, 2018. Goes through to July 24th, and I'm super excited for those dates. Public ICO will start on July 24th. Round 1 and Round 2 will go through October 24th, and the ICO will close on October 24th, guys. So you have time to participate and do some research on here, okay? So here's how the breakdown of the token sale and token distribution will go. You can check that out on your own. I think it's pretty standard, straightforward. ICO funds are going to go to these different functions. Again, fairly standard. Roadmap. The platform won't be available till 2019, but that's okay. They literally just started. So the brainchild, the masters behind this idea are Maxime Legros and Cyril Vorakoye. I can't pronounce the name exactly right. Apologies there. Check out their LinkedIn profiles. They are impressive individuals. They have good backgrounds in this space, in technology space. Highly recommend that. They have a group of advisors that you can check, from developers to legal to marketers. I'm joining right here as on the marketing side, right? Dan Crypto Camacho. Check out my bio here, guys, if you'd like. Leave a shout out if you can for me. Just love to see you guys do that. Getting their partners built and frequently asked questions. This is where I want to go through because I think this is important for you guys to understand, okay? What is GSC Platform? Genesis Supply Chain Platform is a company based in France. We are developing a supply chain solution to improve flight safety and streamline processes for aviation industry. We will focus on the aviation industry and then roll out our platform to the automotive sector and rail. GSC Platform's aim. The goal of GSCP is to simplify the processes involved in managing the supply chain and improve flight safety with end-to-end parts tracking from manufacturer to installation using the blockchain. We will provide suppliers and buyers efficient and powerful technical tools that will enable them to streamline and secure their internal processes. GSCP will expand buyers and sellers' reach through our global marketplace. By incorporating the blockchain, we will be able to take advantage of the security and speed of transactions and keep immutable records for the lifetime of parts, right? Okay. So the market size and the buyers, I mean, the users are really going to be the buyers and suppliers of the aeronautical field, right? So anybody in that space is going to want to use the GSC platform. Platform will be available in 2019 in Q1 after it passes all the aeronautical safety tests by professionals. And yeah, I mean, this pretty much goes into pretty much everything, okay? Okay, so that's what I wanted to explain, guys. Wanted to let you know that I am an advisor. Last thing, I wanted to just jump into the white paper. It's 46 pages long. Check it out. I'm not going to go into detail now, but I will likely do a video at a later time going to touch on some of this in the white paper, so I'll get back to that. There is a one-pager, well, a light paper, if you will, right here. And I think you should read this because it also gives you a very good snapshot or synopsis of what this company is trying to do. I will definitely make another video at some point and talk about this a little bit further, okay? So I am bullish on GSC Platform. If you know why, it's because look at the picture behind me. Airplanes are complicated. The aeronautical supply chain space is complicated, far more complicated than my brain can handle. That's why we have blockchain. That's why we have smart people like Maxime that is, starting this company. I'm bullish, guys. I think this is going to be revolutionary for the aeronautical and aviation industries. I think it's going to be revolutionary for the transportation industries. I think it's going to be the tip of the iceberg of what can be done and what's achievable through IoT and through IoT technologies like this. I think it's going to be, the start of something very big of what can be done with blockchain, which is why I'm an advisor, which is why I've joined the team, which is why I'm super excited to bring you this video, to bring you guys, attention to this so that you guys can understand and invest in it if you guys want. If you don't know anything about aviation, just look through, the light paper, read about the aviation industry on Google. This is definitely poised to be a game changer. The industry size is massive, and I think that you guys can make a pretty good return on your investment if you do go in on buying GSC tokens. I'm not an investment advisor. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a financial advisor, so do not spend your life savings to invest in any ICO. Please do not do that. The SEC would be very, very mad at me, and I don't want to be fined. I don't want to get in trouble, and I don't want to go to jail, guys, because frankly, it sucks. Okay, so guys, yeah, just take a look at this and tell me what you think, okay? Thanks again, as always, for joining my videos, for subscribing to my YouTube channel, and for leaving comments below. I always appreciate it, and thanks so much to everybody who does do that. I'm Dan from CryptoCamacho.com, and I will talk to you next time, guys. I will probably make a video or two every month on GSC and their platform, on the developments, on what's happening, so you guys know what's going on. But again, thanks so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys next time. More updates to come. Thanks, guys, for your support, and talk to you next time.